watching this game and you're thinking, they got no business winning this game. There's no way. They're being blown out. I predicted a huge blowout in favor of the Ravens. And as the game went on, it looked more and more like, oh my God, the Eagles have a legit chance to win this game. And for the record, I didn't expect them to win as the game went on, but I'm not going to deny reality. They were certainly working their way back into this game. And you know that feeling, you know that game when you have no business being in a game, you have no business certainly winning a game, and oh my God, they won anyway. They're going to win this game. They're going to do it. And it's like that one win that turns the tide on the entire season. Jake Elliott's field goal, for instance, against the Giants had that kind of feeling to it, where you were up big, lost the lead, and then came back and won. Thanks to the field goal. Turned the whole tide of the season. This game was that game. And they did not win this game in the last second because Doug Peterson did a terrible job of coaching his football team and was not prepared for the biggest moment of this game. Did John Hightower drop a big play early in the game? Absolutely. Miles Sanders drop a touchdown? Certainly did. Carson Wentz fumble again? Yeah, that happened. Did Jim Schwartz's defense again allow 30 points in a game? Oh, yeah, that happened. But when it came down to it, Doug Peterson was not prepared for the biggest moment of the game. Inexcusable. And I don't want to hear about a 20-second play clock because they were in the huddle before the ref blew the whistle to get that play clock going. They had a lot more than 20 seconds to have that play prepared. How about after the first touchdown of the second half, when you go for your first two-point conversion, you realize, I'm probably going to need a couple more of these now that I just botched that one because yet again I went with a zone read in a two-point conversion with my backup quarterback. Good hustle, Doug. And by the time you got to the fourth two-point conversion called, I'm out of material. So you know what? In honor of Doug Peterson today, we're only going to do a 3-hour show. And then we'll just, play the overnight syndication in the final hour of the program today. That's just to honor the head coach today. And I know a lot of people with the piping hot takes just want to talk about the quarterback. As I've been saying, he's a baller. He is a gamer. You cannot deny that guy has one of the greatest wills to win you could have. Nobody more so than the head coach of this football team and Doug Peterson. Bob, I couldn't believe what I was watching in the final possession. I couldn't believe it. They fight all the way back, and you have a zone read where your quarterback and your running back are just dumbfounded.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about some things Doug Peterson did yesterday. Now, I'll say this to start it off. For those rolling their eyes, Cooney hates Doug Peterson. Those guys play for him, and my God, they played their asses off. And I don't even know who half the guys who were in there. They threw a touchdown pass yesterday to a guy who you could have told me he played for the University of Georgia.
Crew.
I had no idea who that was. Those guys did play hard for him. But you start out a game with the most vanilla, the most nothing different offense than I've ever seen. The first 16 plays, Carson dropping back pressure, he gets hit, he throws incomplete. Run up the middle, Sanders, no yardage there. Like, they did nothing out of the ordinary. Then they put in Jalen Hurts. On the 16th play of the game, they put in Jalen Hurts. It took him 16 plays to say, you know what, I need a little bit of a trigger here. Right. Puts him in, good things happen. He played 6 plays. 6 plays, they gained 109 yards on offense in the 6 plays he played. 6. That many, Mark.
That's 6.
6. Like, what? I don't. Does this guy see what goes on during a game?
Well, he got Hurts happy. He got Hurts happy for you in the second half. Oh, let me see how many more times I can use this guy. Which, by the way, he had another run to break for whatever reason on that double pass that they tried running there. That lateral and then the pass, right?
A half-hour play that got you 3 yards.
But the thing is, Hurts had a whole sideline to take up there.
He was moving too much. He was faking himself out.
He was overthinking his own moves. But yeah, I still am anti-Jalen Hurts pick, but if he's on the team, you got to use him, obviously.
And Egan and I were talking about that earlier. You took him, so use him.
Yeah, 1,000, yeah, absolutely. But when you watch him get in there on a 2-point conversion, that's a crucial part where I'd rather have my franchise quarterback on the football field to try to make that play for me. He's made 2 of them. 2 of the passing plays you got 2-point conversions on. The other, first off, let me just say this. The first 2-point conversion, I'm done with it. I'm done with the idea of when you finally get in the end zone, oh, wait, let me get out. Instead of thinking, let me get out while the getting's good, just putting 7 points up on the board, you make it 17-7 with 7 minutes and 17 seconds left in the third quarter. Not the game, the third quarter. Just get out while the getting's good there, Dougie. Instead,
I love it.
But why it's stupid? Why
They made up for it the next time.
What?
They got the next one, so it became irrelevant. Look, if you get
it's not irrelevant.
Well, if you get the 2 point on the first time, then you kick the extra point on the second time, then you're in the chance where an extra point ties it at the end.
So you had to save your ass from doing something stupid before.
Yeah, but you get it on the second time, it wipes it out.
No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't.
Yeah.
No, 1,000. How does that even make any sense?
I hear what you're saying.
I heard that argument.
It's like 8 plus 6 is 14. So is 7 and 7.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying.
All right, it's not a word problem. It's football.
And if you hit it, it becomes a bonus. If you hit it the first time, it becomes a bonus.
And
if
then
you wipe it out the
the
second time, it becomes irrelevant.
But if you
really don't have a problem with it.
I don't know what the percentages are of getting them. And I don't know if they flashed them up yesterday that the Eagles were, 3 of 6 on the season, whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
But you're playing catch-up points all day long, it seems like. If you don't get it. I hear exactly what you're saying, James.
Look,
but when you don't get it, you're catching up all day long.
I don't need a word problem. This is football.
What's wrong with 17-7?
So there is nothing wrong with it. I'll tell you what's wrong with I'll tell you what the ultimate thing is with going forward in that situation. You're putting your team in panic mode already. You don't need to be in panic mode when, in essence, you'd be down 10 points with a quarter and a half left in a football game.
I just think they're used to it. I don't think they panicked.
Like first, they looked like they were panicking.
At the end of the game, they panicked because they didn't have a play call, and Doug had a 2-minute warning to prepare for that.
Doug was.
He had 2-minute warning to get a play ready, and they weren't ready. He can't think on his feet. I really see a problem there.
Even in a moment when it comes down to that final 2-point conversion, you got to think to yourself, do I really have you're like Charles Davis, who had a terrible game, but I believe him in this because I've heard this from other people. When you get down to the final moments of that game, you should have 5 to 7. He said 5 to 7 plays for those types of situations, 2-point conversions, right? Doug looked like he had maybe 3.
And he couldn't find that sheet.
And I don't know if somebody took his homework or what the deal was, but I still can't get over the moment that this guy, this Big Balls Doug character, could not have come up smaller in that situation. I think if you go for it early in that situation, for instance, in the third quarter when they went for it after the Miles Sanders fumble to J.J. Whiteside in the end zone, I thought, wait, why are we doing this right now? I get doing it against San Francisco, where you maybe lost confidence in your team in the prior game by playing for the tie against Cincinnati. You want to say, you know what? Let me send a vote of confidence to my player. I believe they can get this. Well, why not just get into the end zone and take the extra point and then move on from it? And then those other points don't become so dire later on. And you don't have to go in panic mode. And maybe this also, maybe you don't already use one of your 2-point conversion plays because, again, it appeared like maybe you had 3 of them in your pocket when you needed 4 or 5 really in this game. So, to me, that's just still mind-numbing to me that Doug Peterson was not ready for the end of this game. And overall, didn't look ready. I mean, Bob, you pointed out how awful, how anemic this offense looked to start out the football game. And I'll say this. Look, I know that they were playing behind a wet paper bag when it came to an offensive line in this game.
Yeah, no question.
And then that wet paper bag became a wet paper bag already with a hole punched through it. But when you look at the way they actually played that game early, it was the most conservative football you could imagine. And then in the first possession, you see that deep ball that, all right, let me see what I can do here. And Carson Wentz actually gets a clean pocket, hits John Hightower in stride, and he drops the football. That's 3 straight plays from John Hightower. Didn't get out of bounds against the Steelers before the half. Didn't catch the football in the end zone before the half against the Steelers. And then this time around, a third straight play, drops what would have at least been a 50-yard bomb to him. I thought he hit him in stride. I thought he only fell because he was trying to corral the football after he dropped it.
I don't know if you could have thrown it better. Right there.
Yeah, it was perfectly thrown football. And then obviously the Miles Sanders throw, the drop was also just abysmal. But overall, my number one takeaway from this game is, Doug, what the hell were you doing in this game? You were not prepared for the final moment of that game. And you want to talk about the 2-minute drill? You want to talk about whatever? 20-second play clock is what Carson Wentz said after the game. We had to hurry up because of a 20-second play clock. They broke the huddle with 12 seconds left on that play clock. And even before then, they're in the huddle, before the play clock starts to rattle off there, before it starts to tick off, like I just said, and they still didn't have a play ready to go. They had time, and they didn't execute. They didn't even get the play in to execute it. And when you saw how quickly they tried to snap that football with just a little bit less than 1 second left on that play clock, so they didn't have to take a penalty, when you saw that, it looked like a bungled play because they were, you want to talk about panic mode. That in itself was panic mode.
Probably should have used that timeout the end of the game with.
Because you get bonus points afterwards. I think at the end of the season for the timeouts you don't use during the course of a game.
I don't know why, again, you don't call a timeout there.
Exactly. I mean, it looks bad because you're calling a timeout after the 2-minute warning or whatever, but so what? You have to get your team on the same page. You have to get yourself on the same page. Hell, I almost cursed. You should have called Nick Foles and say, I'm sorry, I need a play. What should I run here? I mean, I just don't get so many things he does. I said to Egan earlier, getting a reputation as a gutsy coach is one of the easiest things to do. But going for it on 4th down with 9 minutes to go when you're only down 2 touchdowns on your own 30-something yard line, that's not aggressive. That's stupid.
Right.
That's just stupid.
We do have our Twitter poll today. It's brought to you by Window Nation. Call 1-866-90Nation or visit windownation.com. We're going to make it official in a second. Who or what were the most disappointing parts of Sunday? Which was the most disappointing part of Sunday? Was it Doug Peterson? Was it Carson Wentz? He's the quarterback of the football team, so you always have to put his name in there for people to out themselves as haters. Jim Schwartz. I know I'm still out on Jim Schwartz, even though he had a much better game this time around. Or the wide receiver or the receivers in general, because I know Zach Ertz was making people upset. I know Miles Sanders was making people who did have a nice reception later in the game. Still could have used him earlier. Would have changed the whole outlook of the game. Of all that, the most disappointing to me by far, it's not even close. It's Doug. By far. And this is someone who's not a Doug hater, but I always consider myself to be a realist. And whenever you see somebody, a coach, and it looks like he's being taken by surprise by his own game plan time and time again, I don't see how you look any other direction than the head coach of this football team and Doug Peterson.
Yeah, it's funny. I was giving Schwartz a pass most of yesterday because of the bad plays I saw. To me, God, look who's out there. We should be able to do the same exact thing with Doug Peterson, right? With the offense. I mean, my God, that offensive line that they have, there, which, again, Howie, we talked about it in the summertime. You're just a sprained ankle away from him being your number one running back, but you decided not to address it. Yesterday, I thought Schwartz's defensive scheme wasn't bad. I thought some of the things that happened were I look at the player and say, oh, my God. Nate Gary one time, they went for a 3rd down. I think it was like 3rd and 7, and they threw a swing pass. He ran by the guy. I swear to God, I yelled out loud. I said,
"No, that's the key play."
He didn't even go for a tackle. And then on the Jackson run up the middle, where the hell were the linebackers going?
Yeah.
Don't hit him. I thought he had a red jersey on. I swear to God, I thought Gary was like, oh, no, I'm not allowed to touch him, so I'm just going to run out over here into a wing.
Gary, Singleton, but yeah, both linebackers were beat.
I've seen enough from Sean Bradley. Just stop. Even when Duke Riley's back, just get Nate Gary out of there. Stop.
Yeah, yep. It's not going to happen, though. I hope it does. And you're right. And Jamie, actually, are you busy? Could you run the defense? That'd be nice.
I mean, I got a belly.
You're
feel like that's half of being a football guy.
There you go. Here's one thing. I think Howie needs our help, basically. And I'm here to help. Because I want this Eagles team to do well. And I know Doug, we're going to call him out for everything that went terrible yesterday. But to also, for extra added pleasure, going into that football game, and you had the report from Jason LaCanfora about how the Eagles are going to be buyers.
Wow.
So throughout that football game, my mindset the entire time was, yeah, these guys are buyers. Like everything bad that happened, it was like, oh, yeah, let's go out and buy. Because next year you're already strapped cap-wise. You need as many draft picks as humanly possible to actually go out there and try to hit on somebody, unlike what's been happening in years prior. And by the way, I got some numbers for you on Travis Fulgham, who, again, was a bright, shining star as this game came to a unfortunate halt.
Oh, can you buy by selling? Because if I can get a linebacker for Zach Ertz, let's party.
Okay, I would love to see that.
So I don't know, maybe that's an option.
Look,
he's done here.
If you're doing that, then fine. But I'm talking about giving up draft picks. And
that would be ridiculous.
That's what I'm talking about, and that's mostly how NFL trades happen. So I would love to see a linebacker here, and if you can make a trade there, fine. But usually what happens is when you're a buyer, you give up picks. I would like them to hold on to as many picks as humanly possible because they're going to need every opportunity. Now, like I was saying, I'm gonna give you some numbers on Travis Fulgham from yesterday and really over the last 3 games to tell you what he'd be doing over the course of a full season. And it's funny, it actually reminds you of a football player that was in a very similar situation last year with the Philadelphia Eagles and didn't get that opportunity until this year with Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey both being out. So we'll cover that whole thing. We'll also cover I said on Friday when I was talking to people that were out in Pittsburgh, they felt a responsibility to the other fan bases throughout football. Like to be at that game, to drive across the state and go to that game at Heinz Field, they felt like a responsibility to other fan bases.
Right.
They didn't want to ruin this for anybody.
Right.
To the morons that decided to fight at Lincoln Financial Field yesterday, watching the football game was upsetting as a football fan. Watching a fight happen in the stands when they're supposed to be socially distanced is even more mind-blowing and disappointing to me. Like, I felt like someone who was like, I'm not as much angry as I am disappointed. But as the day went on, and I continued to see people commenting about it and all that, I got more angry. It started out as disappointment, and then it just became more anger.
Why is the country so angry anymore? Like we said it last week, a caller called about, we all said that we wouldn't go to a game. Mm-hmm. Just our choice. That's all. The question was put out there. Would you go to a game or wouldn't you? We said no. For people that say yes, okay, go ahead. God bless you and good luck. Hope everything turns out. I'm not mad at you for saying you want to go to a game. Why do people have to, if we say we don't want to go to a game, why does it anger people so much?
Well, I don't know.
Why are people so angry?
They're on edge.
I mean, this country is just angry anymore. It really is. And I was telling Egan about an incident that I had this weekend. It's just unbelievable, the anger that is out there now, and it's a shame.
You should watch The Social Dilemma. I watched that over the weekend. Couldn't sleep one night, put that on. I think I know why we're all angry. The Social Dilemma. Very interesting little flick there on Netflix.
Really?
I've been told not to watch it.
You should get...
because... Yeah, like, I don't need dark... Like, I know it's bad.
Even with that knowledge, because,
he doesn't need the flame fueled.
Even at that, it's worse.
Yeah.
Like, I went into it with a very similar mindset of like, oh, so what? They sell us advertising. But
No. They know. I know it's way past that, but it's still. I was told don't watch it.
It's just funny because Bob mentions that, and I right away went to why is the world angry? And I know why now. But why do you find it necessary to fight? Was there somebody threatening your family, like physically? Were they holding a loved one and they were going to seek them harm, or was it a Ravens fan there? Well, that's what it looked like. Was it a Ravens fan that was just talking trash to your football team who wasn't really playing well, even though the Eagles, I think, just scored a touchdown because the Eagles Fly was playing, so things should have been looking on the up and up, maybe?
By the way, who the hell played the fight song after the failed 2-point conversion in that stadium?
Was a bad choice.
Yeah.
Who the hell hit play on that one?
So you see this guy, this Eagles fan, if you didn't see the video yet of these people fighting at the link, you see him march down what seemed like 8 to 10 rows and just start walloping a Ravens fan. So that's like 8 to 10 rows of trying to work your way down to fight someone. So there's a thought process there, right? There's intent. And then you see another Eagles fan jump in there, and they start beating the crap out of this Ravens fan as well before somebody, breaks it up. I don't know where security was. I would imagine this wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment thing. This must have been going on for quite some time. I mean, at least I would hope that's what it would be. Just not that I hope this happens at all. But you would think that this wasn't just I think I'm going to fight now. There had to be some kind of jawing back and forth to egg this on. I don't know who started it. All I know is watching an Eagles fan march down 8 rows to fight someone in this climate, at this day and age, when you're just allowed back into the stadium, could not be a worse look right now. And here's the thing. It happened out in Kansas City with people getting in a fight, so it's not just Philadelphia.
No, it's not.
But we know what happens.
Oh, it was sent to me by somebody in Chicago, somebody in New York.
Yeah.
As several of my friends' groups it was shared and like, look at Philly. And I was like, yep, that kid's a scumbag. What do you want me to say?
So I think it was posted by somebody who is from Delaware. And I tried looking for it on their own story and their own Instagram account. I couldn't find it. I don't know if they took it down or what the story was, but Barstool picked it up, and that's how it became known throughout the country now. The football team played terrible, and that is the story of the day, obviously. But fans being allowed at the stadium at the Link for the first time this season is also awful. We'll try to make sense of at least the football version of it. You can't make sense of it whatsoever as far as that one fan that decided to be a complete jackass with other fans, so good times. And we'll continue to focus on Doug Peterson and what the hell happened yesterday. We have our Twitter poll out there brought to you by Window Nation. We got Vinny and Runnymede. We got open lines after that. When we come back, I'm going to tell you the Travis Fulgham numbers as it would go throughout the entire season if he started from week 1 and who it reminds you of from last year. Time of the Fanatic 6.
Mark Farzetta with Bob Cooney and Jamie Lynch. Mornings on 97.5 The Fanatic. Philadelphia.